In this video, I'm going to show you a little more in depth on Google Trends because it's truly a powerful tool you can use for finding niche markets, finding undiscovered keywords you didn't know were possible to go after for your niche, finding keyword phrases and trends over time so you can see, when certain phrases are hotter for your niche market, what kinds of things they're interested in at certain times, because that's going to help you identify what article should I be writing right now? What content should I be putting out to attract my audience back to me? So that's where tools like Google Trends really can benefit you, where they can help you out. So I'm going to go here to Google Trends and just go up here to explore topics. Now, we already talked about the homepage. They're going to show kind of the hot news and you can sort by location. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick search here for a certain keyword phrase. So let's go in and let's type in a niche related phrase. So let's say the phrase golf training that we already were covering. So let's say golf training here and pretending we're in the golf niche, right? So golf training, and it's going to do its thing. It's going to bring up the results here and show us a chart, which we've already seen from the previous video. Now, here's where it gets really powerful. So I can actually do a search and say, I actually am just curious how this phrase is performing for, let's say, for example, for the past 12 months. Let's see how it's done over the past 12 months and kind of see, when it's what trends it's at. So it's kind of maintained. It looks like it's doing really well. It dropped a little bit there and it's kind of going back up. So no major changes there, no major shifts. Now I could click just simply add a term too, and I could say golf. Let's see, golf help or golf. Yeah, let's say golf help. And the phrase golf help surprisingly has less because it's not as simple of a phrase, I guess, to solve that. So let's say cure golf slice, and let's see how that's comparing. So we can kind of compare keywords and see trends over time, see what keywords are getting more benefit. Now that's a longer tail phrase. I could do the phrase golf, for example, and notice it's going to color code it. So this one's red, golf help is red. So it's going to help me identify that, obviously that's up there. Now look proportionately, the phrase golf is obviously going to be getting a lot of traction there, a lot of traffic, but that's a way you can kind of go in there and just identify, what keywords. Now let's go identify even another niche. Let's say some obscure niche like, let's say, tonsil stones. Tonsil stones, it's a niche market that it's an issue people struggle with, so it's a niche market and they want solutions because they don't want to have surgery. So I'm going to type in the phrase tonsil stones, and I'm curious how it's performed over the last 12 months. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so now let's look at maybe for all of 2015 and see how this keyword phrase performed. Notice kind of flatline there. Around the summer, it seemed to spike back up, so traffic seemed to be coming back. And notice some additional keywords. Now, being in this niche market, I may not have realized that this is another possible keyword phrase. So they actually tell me after I've done my search here, Google will actually tell me some additional insights. So they're going to say, this is how it's performing in certain countries. So that's interesting. So I can see that. And then it's going to also show me that people related searches were tonsillosis. So that's another, like a medical term for that condition. So it's not really called tonsil stones, but that's because it's a lot easier to say than tonsillosis. I can't say it right either. But the point is, that would be a keyword that I hadn't thought of, that if I was in this niche market, I could actually start creating content around that keyword phrase and start reaching people. Notice throat stones gave me some additional ideas. White throat tonsil stones, remove tonsil stones. So I could click here and look at this and say, okay, so here we go, throat stones, and now it's going to give me some ideas of what they are, and how to cure them. So that might be an additional keyword I could go after. You can see what countries are impacted by this issue as well. Let's type in for another niche market. So let's say I'm in the baseball hitting, um, baseball hitting drills, baseball drills. And so it's searching for that related keywords there. Let's see, not enough search volume, so that's good to know. So it's not going to be able to pull that up. But we could type in another phrase. Let's say um, baseball drills, for example, or just the phrase baseball. And we can see that the interest over time has kind of dropped here. Now we're looking at all of 2015. Of course, it went up for that time of year. We could look at 2004 to the present, see how the baseball industry is profiting over the years. Notice it's up and down, of course, when they have their off season, but it's very consistent and it's getting back up there again. So for that though, this is where it gets cool. You can find those keywords, baseball hitting drills. It tells you that it's a top keyword phrase. Now this one's interesting. So 2004 to the present, baseball hitting drills is actually up 200%. So that tells me that's a rising keyword phrase. So if I'm in that niche, then that tells me some additional keywords that I should be focused on and going after. So these are again some of the other ways you can use Google Trends to your advantage to find those keywords. And it was really fascinating to find the rising trends. So if I went back to that obscure niche, the tonsil stones niche market, and I typed that in here, so tonsil stones. Go ahead and click search on that. It's going to pull up these results. I could actually do the rising search and it's going to tell me a percentage of, 2004 to the present. Interest in this topic actually for the last 12 years plus is actually going up significantly. So that means awareness to it's going up. So that would be a good time to jump into a certain niche. And if I went to, now notice top is checked here. If I went to rising, I could actually see, how to prevent tonsil stones. That's breakout. Tonsil stone causes, that keyword phrase is up 650%. So that means I could do a Google AdWords ad around that keyword. That means I could do a YouTube video. I could take what I learned from one of the other videos, for example. Notice tonsil stone causes. It's going to pull up a Google search window for me here. Whoops, it actually brought just that phrase. So let's go back here, type in tonsil stone causes. And if you want to use something we learned from one of the previous videos, just out of curiosity, let's do an all in title search here with the quote, and then we'll use quotes for the phrase tonsil stone causes. Only 128. 128. That's it. Competition for this keyword, which has actually up in interest 650%. Now, how cool is that? That's another reason that I absolutely love Google Trends, and that's a way you can use Google Trends to identify these low-hanging fruits, to identify these keywords that you can start leveraging for your bottom line. Plain and simple, that's what these tools have for you right here. So that's why I love using Google's tools. I love Google Trends for that reason because I can identify, here's a breakout keyword phrase, prevent tonsil stones. Now, if I did the all-in title search that we already learned one of the previous videos, then that's going to show me right now that how much competition I'm really going against. That means I could quickly do a video on that as well. So prevent tonsil stones, and there's 347 results. So still not tons of competition. You can still rank in Google for that, and you're not dealing with some of the toughest websites out there. We're dealing with MD-Health, so it's not WebMD we're going up against, it's some of the other ones. Tonsilcure.com, hubpages.com. So we're not going against some major competition here. So that actually gives me a lot of hope that I could rank well for that. So use Google Trends to find those low-hanging keyword, the low-hanging fruit, I like to call it, keywords you can go after. Find what's the breaking news, the rising trends in your niche, and it's going to really help your business grow tremendously. So Google Trends is your friend. Make sure you use it.